Hey everybody, how's it going? Happy Friday, Red Friday. Remember, everyone deployed. How you doing today? My name is Zach, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. We welcome you to this hour-ish of programming and seeing through my face. That is not necessary, I guess, is the best way to say it. Anyway, we are going to be talking about Community Mission to Rescue 22. What is it? Why is it? What are we doing? Why are we doing it? Whatever you've got, whatever you need, you're more than welcome to call us. And well, maybe not call us, but send us a message using the comments button, and we will answer your question. Send us a question and we'll get it answered. One of the things that we are doing is we just announced on Wednesday, one of our great partners, Carolyn Rasmussen, works with Pampered Chef, and she is going to be hosting a party on the 19th. So it's just another way that we can take and we can really make a difference for a lot of organizations that are built in order to help our veteran nonprofits and slow down the suicide rate, start to come up with a solution for some of our heroes rather than just making end-of-life decisions. The most important thing that we can do is talk. Let them talk, not even talk ourselves. I've said it many times. When you listen to great friend of the program, great friend of the organization, Brian Gibson, he'll flat out tell you, look, if you ask him what's wrong, you better damn well be ready to hear. Because it's not going to be a good thing. It's not a good thing. There's a lot of difficulty with a lot of these people. And if you're not ready to listen, then you could really do a lot more damage than you think. I've said this multiple times, and I truly feel like this. Not everybody is built to deal with this conversation. There's nothing wrong with that. Admitting that you're not capable to sit down and listen to somebody, I think that takes guts. I think that you're pretty brave. And I think that you're being completely honest. And that's something that you have to be. Because if you try to portray yourself as someone you're not, it could lead to negative outcomes. We need to make sure that we're fully invested in what they're saying. We need to make sure that we let them lead the conversation. And we allow them to take it whichever way that they need to take it. We cannot let them, we can't dictate how they feel. This does not just go for veterans. Okay, this goes for anybody who's struggling to make the end of life decision. And if you're going to sit there and you're going to volunteer your ears, your shoulders, good on you. God love you. Thank you. Great job. Congratulations. But again, if you do not feel like your life, like your ability lies in that comfort zone, let's find somebody that you can direct them to go to. Let's not ever leave somebody alone who has that thought process that I've had enough. I can't do nothing else. Walking away and leaving it up to chance, or walking away and saying, oh, this will take care of itself. You know, that's it's really one of the reasons why we've got to this situation. It's been proven without any doubt that that's not the best way to go. So let's not do that. What we're going to do is first, I want to introduce a great friend of ours who's coming back to the program. He runs one of these organizations where you can find people who can help. You can find those who are working to save lives. And all you have to do is go to their soon to be up and running website. They are rebuilding, they're going through a lot of things, so it's going to be a couple minutes. But I just want you to remember, this is one of our great hero missions. You know, our heroes, both country and community. Right after this spot, it's going to be Justin Jones from VWAS, which is Veteran One Stop Shop. Hello, I'm Zach Clayton,
Clayton
of Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PACT channels. We have two choices. We can either sit around and hope this goes away on its own, or we together can do something about it. Join me and my wonderful sponsor partners, Scott O'Sullivan Law Firm, and Ryder Justice, Z World Webs, Auxilia Donor Management Systems, and Autumn Dahlia Creative Services. As we introduce programs from around the country aimed at helping our veterans and discuss the importance of conversation and listening. Together, you and I can move mountains. Let's save lives. Hey everybody, Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PACT channels. I'm back here with a friend from a little over a year ago when we first did this crazy 22 thing, and he's back now, and we're finally getting him into the program, Mr. Justin Jones from VWAS. How's it going, Justin?
Just another day in paradise.
Yeah. Well, you know, paradise. So one man's paradise is another man's, well, nightmare. So that's like that. Whenever somebody tells me, yeah, just living the dream, all I can think of is somebody needs to wake this guy up quickly because his dream is one hell of a nightmare. So,
oh yeah, definitely.
It's always one of the things that I like to say. Hey, Justin, tell me a little bit about VWAS.
Well, VWAS started as for years. I just kind of try to find my spot. Fast forward to, what was it? I'm gonna say the fall of 2020. Certain things I started questioning stuff about what's what's got in store for me and all that. And then I met this soldier. Some bad things happened to her. She lost her husband to suicide, and that was 2 days after her son's second birthday. Literally, it was maybe, let's see, October, November, December, January, February, March. I'd say it was about 6 months after he committed suicide. He's a soldier. She committed suicide too, so they left behind a 2-year-old little boy. So, I mean, just her experiencing that thing got me started. And VWAS started off as supposed to be a one-stop shop, which it will be. But now, after being going strong for 2 years, it's kind of molded into like a bigger thing, because like a couple, like I'll tell you what we're doing. One's, we're going to build the biggest database. We're going to basically, without, it's going to be Google without the ads. We're going to try to focus on sources and resources all over the nation, possibly even go international with it because we got vets all over the world. Then we're going to look at our short-term and long-term care facilities. Short-term would be for more of the transitioning, where long-term is more of the veterans after service. And sitting there today, as my mind constantly goes nuts, I came up with something else we could do, and that's going to be something which I think it's going to go outside of just the veterans, but it's something I would like to try to do. But like, for example, I'm 100%, I'm 80% by VA match, but I'm 100% total disability and unemployability is what it's called. And, as a person like us soldiers, it kind of, to go from a fast run to a screeching halt is very hard, especially like in my case. I'm a single father and I'm doing everything on my own. So, like, yeah, don't get me wrong. The amount of money we make, it does the job. But, to really want to be the man that, the man or the woman that the military made us to be, it's like we want more for our child. Granted, if it, like I said, when you're married, it makes things a little different because you got an extra adult and stuff. But for single parents with the temporary or even married people, we lose our way because it's basically like they're saying, hey, you can't really work no more. But with 100% scheduler, they can work no cap. But with unemployability, we're held to how much we can make, and we're kind of held back from not being able to do, run our own businesses. So we're looking at doing like a shelter protected work environment where they get decent wages and they can actually feel relevant and we can actually work with their disabilities. So, if they got to leave for a prolonged amount of time, okay, you ain't got to worry about losing your job. But just something else that kind of came up in my brain recently. So that's something else we're probably going to add to the plate of stuff that we want to accomplish, because the overall mission of this is to help our brothers and sisters from that big number, which we all know is more than double now. But it's it started off as 22, and that's really what I'm trying to spearhead. Is just a simple fact. I'm trying to be the game changer with our nonprofit. Nobody that ever works there will make a six-figure salary. We're not going to sit there and pay high dollars to, get big Super Bowl commercials and stuff like that. The whole idea is to make sure the money's going where it needs to go and not into the pockets of the people. We understand running nonprofits costs money, but nobody should be making six-figure salaries. So that's one thing we're going to focus on. Like the cost of living adjustment, you can't do anything about that. But nobody will ever get a job with this nonprofit and make a six-figure salary. If that's their intentions, then by all means, I wish them the best of luck. But we need people focused on the mission. And I mean, don't get me wrong, we're going to make sure they make enough money and they can take care of their family. They get good benefits and stuff. We're going to take care of the people that give their life for this nonprofit, just like the people we're taking care of that the nonprofit was for. And that's a
looks like we lost Justin for a minute. We'll wait for his internet to catch back up. Justin and I, we did some work with each other last month or last year, sorry. And he's a great guy. He is a veteran himself who understands the struggles that other veterans.
brother. You know me.
Oh, here we go. All right, brother, we lost you there for a second, so sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It just went like my service is pretty good. I got my Wi-Fi on and everything. I don't know what happened. So,
All right. So tell me this. One of the things that you said, I think, is very important because me being disabled myself, it's not. I think one of the misconceptions that a lot of people have is that a lot of people seek out disability, and there are some people. Let's not kid ourselves. But one of the biggest problems with disability, one of the biggest depressions about disability, is you feel like you're not who you used to be. You're not who you used to be. I can't go out and do a lot of the things I used to do because my head just will not allow it. I got the head
Yep.
injury. I get out there, I go to try to do things. I can't go camping and lay on the ground because if I do, look, let's be honest.
Yeah.
My wife and my two sons, who are big individuals, they ain't big enough to pick my fat butt off the ground. And the truth is that I mean, it's one of those things that if I have a problem, I'm going to be there until I get eaten by a bear or until they're able to get fire rescue out to me.
Right.
One of the biggest problems that we have is just that, trying to deal with the fact that we are no longer who we were before. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's almost like, for example, you know how I'm considered a disabled veteran.
Yes.
When they do that, it's almost like and that's like, I ain't trying to get political by any means, but it's like you're in a way you're singling out, in a way you're kind of taking away their identity, because like like, yes, I'm a disabled veteran, but I don't let the word disabled define who I am. Like, for example, I can work, but I just can't work like most people because with what I go through, which is, you probably go through some of the stuff like with the PTSD, I deal with anxiety, I deal with depression. Literally, and I'm not even joking with you, 2.5 hours ago, I was literally sitting in the middle of Walmart on the floor having a straight full blown panic attack. And of course, the Walmart associates are really nice, took me to the back, talked to me because I've had a lot on my head because that's just the type of person I am. I always put a lot of pressure on myself. But that's something I've been learning here lately is like we can get there, but there's got to be a way to figure it out first. Like I was sitting there saying, when it comes to whether it's disabled veterans or just people that are disabled, why should we be held back from trying to, make a good living? Like we can work, but there's not many workplaces that what they are considered a sheltered, protected work environment. If you look up the definition, basically in most cases is a place where you can work that literally makes accommodations where you won't lose your job. Like, for example, if I'm having a bad day and I need to leave and not even just say, hey, I need to go and just leave, I won't get in trouble. Like it has to be, there's a lot of stuff that goes in that, but I want, that's something else now that I wanted to bring to the table with the whole one-stop shop. I mean, the whole concept is a one-stop shop. So why not bring some more to the table? And with this, if we were to open businesses or make the people that do work for the nonprofit disabled folks, disabled veterans and disabled folks that just want to make a good living. What they don't understand is, I mean, great, this ain't the reason behind it, but believe it or not, when you hire veterans and disabled people, you actually get a hell of a tax break.
Yeah. One of the, you know, one of the things that I think is completely and absolutely ridiculous. One of the things that I really feel like that needs to be fixed is if you or I want to go out there, like you said, you know what? I can't go do a 40-hour a week job
Uh-uh.
for someone else. I cannot maintain a schedule due to my head. It's one of the reasons why I do what I do is because I can work around my head. I can try to do things. If I have to move a meeting or two, I move a meeting or two. It
Uh-huh.
is something that, this is controlled 100% by me. If I go to try to work for somebody else, even part time, and I lose for every $2 or $3 I earn, I lose $100 or $2 off my disability.
Yep.
I would rather not
Uh-huh.
have disability, but the truth is that I cannot maintain a lifestyle, a employment with what is going on. Um,
Especially depending on what state, like where I'm from in Tennessee, the cost of living ain't so bad here, but still, it's just a simple fact. Like I can imagine, folks like y'all out west, man, poof, I don't even want to fathom. Because, like I said, I tried to live out in your area one time back in 2018. I was there for 2 weeks looking for an apartment and just a decent. And when I say decent, it's not a good decent. It's just decent, you know, by my standards, which is pretty high. It's like $1,500-$1,600 for a 2 bedroom. I'm like, are you serious? And when I
yeah,
got I got a nice 2 bedroom, comfy little brick duplex. I paid $515 a month for.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Colorado is not one of the. Colorado is definitely not one of the cheaper places to live. That's for sure.
there-
And it is very well known that Colorado is becoming the California light. So we're California with more snow and a lot less ocean. So but all right, so let's get into this. You did suffer injuries and you suffered depression after your service, correct?
Yes, I never went to combat. My PTSD stems from an incident that happened while I was in uh, an unfortunate event. I witnessed one of my buddies get, uh, I'm just gonna call it murdered by a female soldier that was a friend of ours as well, or at least we thought she was. And of course, with PTSD comes the anxiety, comes the depression, comes all the stuff that comes with it. But yeah, I did have, and then of course I suffer from all kinds of other elements that come with it. Tinnitus. I got bilateral hearing loss. I'm just all jacked up in the military words, basically.
Yeah. Um, and VWAS stands for Veteran Warrior One Stop Shop, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The
Yeah.
initial, yep, the initial premise of VWAS was you were going to be a directory
Mm-hmm.
with where a a veteran did not have to go to several different places to find the services that they need.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's still all part of the plan. It's literally that VWAS went from one small something to now it's turned into like I said, like it might have started off the way it sounded, and then it's going to be a one stop shop, but it's just turned into more of a bigger idea and more of a one stop shop because we're trying to knock out so many things in one within one organization. But we also, I'm not against working with any other organizations because to me, it's not about who's the best; it's about teamwork and completing the mission. So,
you and I, this is one of the things that I actually brought this up in the show last week, to where one of the things that I think is terrible when it comes to nonprofit world is it's almost like being in the biker world where there are a lot of people who will bring up like territorial pissings, if you will. Well,
uh-huh.
why are you doing this? That's something similar to what we're doing. Well, the truth is, not one organization can help everyone. So
No,
having, these other organizations in there, working with these other organizations should be something in the nonprofit world that everyone does. But it
yeah.
rarely happens that way. How often do you approach somebody and have them go, "No, we got this on our own"?
That right there to me is pride. Man, I'm a man to admit this. Pride almost cost me my life in 2016, but I understand as an organ. Don't get me wrong. I'm a person that tries to pull every trick I can to make things happen. I want to make sure I can complete the mission. But even your best people are always going to have help from time to time, and you know that's what differentiates between to me a good nonprofit and a nonprofit that's just going through the motions. Like a good nonprofit, I don't want to sit there and bash any nonprofits because that's just not my style. But there's one nonprofit that I'm an alumni of, and for their CEO to make a six-figure salary and be a retired officer, and then more than 20 people on their in their company are making six-figure salaries. Something's wrong with that picture.
It's a little hard to take when you're sitting there and you realize that, and I mean, hey, I'm one of those guys that, I don't ever bash anybody for making money. I mean, making money is a necessity, but
Oh yeah.
when you're making that kind of money in a nonprofit, that money can definitely be used in other places, and so it gets a little frustrating. That's again, that's another one of the things that we brought up the other day, I believe last week, when we were
Hmm.
talking about, you got to be very protective of your where you put money, because if you're not studying, and you can, unfortunately, in the nonprofit world, there are places out there that spend more money on the business model itself than they do
Hmm.
on the mission. So, and like you, I'm not going to mention any names. That's not my job. I have my opinion about certain organizations, but that's exactly that, my opinion. And the old saying, opinions are like stinky things. Everyone has
Hmm.
one, and
Oh yeah.
most of them stink, and that's just the way it is. So, Justin,
True.
you are joining Community Pay It Forward this year, to where we can start helping you get this launched in. Uh, get it relaunched, get it back up, and get it going. What are some of the things that donations are, when somebody makes a purchase and they say, you know what, I want to give this money to VWAS? What are some of the things that VWAS will be using that money for?
Well, I'll tell you right off the bat. Like right now, I mean, back when we first got introduced, VWAS actually had a website. Right now, like I said, we're completely rebranding. There's been a lot of change, but a lot of good with it. So there is a website. It's vwoss.org, but right now it's under construction because this like compared like what we're doing with this compared to what it was is going to be we're really our goal is to take this over the edge, like really make hits with it. But after talking with my president and stuff, and my president, one of the biggest things we got to focus on right now is coming up with the money to do our veteran business certificate, because what that does is that opens us up to grants and loans and stuff like that, so we can start focusing on getting these offices, getting the database built. Uh, possibly even the best part about doing this is it's just like you had mentioned something earlier, but it's like networking. Like, if you work within, one nonprofit, but you work alongside other nonprofits, it's one big network. And that's kind of what I want to do. I'm trying to turn this into one big network so everybody gets the help they need. But like right now, with us being able to get the veteran business certificate, it basically just opens some doors. So the financial hardship's not so much on, the people. I mean, we need their help because you know how I am. I'm a straight shooter and I tell it how it is. The government is not doing their job for its men and women that served. So somebody's got to step up to the mantle. And, I ain't trying to be a face or anything because y'all know I'm not big on being the face of anything, but I'm also very passionate with what I do. So I'm going to make sure it happens, but not at the expense of our veterans and not too much at the expense of the people that do help, because we know that everybody has to work and everybody has to take care of their family. But right now, we got a government, and I ain't going to say a country, but for the most part, we got a government that makes a bunch of false promises to our brothers and sisters, and they're failing. And now we got to we got to sit there, scale things back, regroup, and try something new because obviously what they've been doing ain't working. So that's what I'm here to try to change. Like I said, my whole concept is being a game changer. So a lot of that money is just going to be helping us get the ball really rolling, because that's the biggest thing is once we get the veteran business certificate up, once we get the website up and running, that already start making stuff because it costs to get the website up and running. But I mean, man, the things we're going to be able to do, especially with the better, like that's the biggest part for me is the veteran business certificate, simply because that's what's going to help us. I mean, I'm hoping for more grants, but with it, you got to roll the dice. So I won't take no loans out because then you take chances. But contracts and grants, we're definitely going to focus on because, like I said, the whole idea is to get the money and put it in the hands. Like we want to be able to help people with stuff, but we also want to bring people into VWAS establishments and help them get the help they need. And obviously, if we're not able to, we can get contact with somebody we're partnered up with and get them the proper help. But we also want to make sure they're in line with our beliefs. And it's going to be hard to find somebody that puts person before profit, because that's kind of what we're going to do with ours. Is like I said, yeah, people's going to work for it. They're going to have to make a good paying job, but we're not going to be doing those six figures. We're going to make sure that like I said, the person comes before profit. We're never going to sit there and spend high dollars and millions of dollars on commercials. If somebody wants to market with us, let's make a deal, because you're supposed to be helping us by making sure we're getting money to put into our men and women. But yeah, you're sitting there making us paying millions of dollars, so it kind of defeats the purpose.
One of the reasons why VWAS is so important is because if you've got a veteran who is um, in trouble, throwing multiple phone numbers or throwing them in multiple directions, and this isn't just limited to veterans. This is limited to anybody who might be having end of life thoughts. If you start throwing them in many multiple directions, there's a chance they're just going to say, I give up. I'm not going to be chasing the tail. VWAS is going to have all these places listed to where we can go in and we can say, you know what are the services that you need? Let us check out our website, check out this website. And oh, look at this right there. Here are 3 places that are ready to talk to you today. And so I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the reasons why what your concept is beautiful, because it is putting together many different facets. Okay, it's not just one thing. It's putting together many different facets. So I'm really looking forward to uh, us reconnecting and getting this started again. You are also going to be joining us on the 22nd, which is our second annual community mission to Rescue 22. VWAS will be one of our organizations that we are raising money for. And we're thrilled to get you in as this comes along. You were here with us, and you appeared 2 or 3 times on the podcast last year. This time, no monkey suit. This time, it's just going to be
Yeah.
this time it's just going to be all 100% Justin, right?
Yeah, last time, I mean, y'all had the 22-hour thing going, and we had our Say 22 on 220 event up in the Wisconsin Dells, which I almost was going to pull that off. Well, not the Wisconsin Dells. I'm working on doing 22 events, not so much February 22nd no more. I am looking at doing an event around here, possibly either at the National Guard Armory or the VFW post on May 22nd, because it's on a Saturday, so everybody's available. It's warm outside, but also it's right before Memorial Day, so what better day than to, try to focus on the 22 a day and the veterans and stuff than a day that, we've lost some of our, some good soldiers to that battle. So to me, even though Memorial Day is for the ones who lost the battle fighting overseas and stuff and fighting battles, but to me, that also should cover I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not the one who feels this way, but that also should cover the ones who've lost the battle within too, because that battle right there could be just as hard as the battle overseas. So yeah, I'm working on doing little things like that. I mean, I even got a tattoo on my shoulder that has a skull with 22 as the eyes. I mean, it's become a very big part of my life being somebody that actually, and well, I'll show you this recent. If you see, well, you notice the semicolon.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm constantly getting inked. That's part of my therapy, but that's the big part of it is just knowing that, I've talked to a lot of people about this, civilian and military. Mental health is a very big problem. 1 out of 5 people deal with it, and it to me it's a bigger pandemic than we had with COVID. Like it's a bigger issue than the open, I think. So mental
Well,
health,
and I mean, yeah, and truthfully, COVID did not help the mental health
no.
situation either. We had many different situations, and these are just numbers that I'll bring them up again. That in 2021, we had let me find the exact number on this. But in 2021, we had over 3 million attempts at ending their life. And then we had an increase from 2020 where 47,646 people, and these are not veterans, all veterans, but this is in society itself. 47,646 people ended their life in 2001. Those numbers are just,
Mm.
they're scary. They're sad, they're scary. But the worst part about it is that there are people who are still sitting around expecting it to go the other way. These numbers are going the wrong way, and we celebrate the number. We don't celebrate, but we utilize the number 22 because there were millions of dollars put into that number 22, and people recognize it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely some. When you hear 22, in most cases, there one or two things going to come to your head. Either a double deuce, which is a beer, but in most cases, you hear 22, you think of vets. I mean, that's a very big thing in our community. Which I mean, I wish it was lower than the number it is right now, but like I said, our government's failing our brothers and sisters, and something needs to be done. I mean, I can get in politics and talk more about that, but I try to stay away from politics. Even though here recently, I've actually had a couple of people talking to me about running for some representative thing, but that's still far and few between before I even think about something like that.
Yeah. All right, Justin. How did people get a hold of you?
Well, if you do need to get a hold of me, my number is 731-798-1161. Right now, I'm using my personal email because, like I said, with the whole rebranding and stuff, we're having to readjust everything. So the email is jjones59@bethelu.edu. And eventually the number won't change because that's the nonprofit number, but eventually we'll get the updated email address. And then of course, still, like I said, y'all be seeing the logo very soon. I'll be getting that to you. Yeah, we even got and something that you're going to start hearing about because there is a possibility I might be starting a podcast to focus on veteran issues, but like try to get veteran people on there. Like me and you're going to have to talk about this. I think you'll get a kick out of it. But what was I going to say? I hate when that happens. You get them brain farts, and that's part of our issues.
Yeah.
But no, we're definitely gonna nick some of this stuff in the butt because I'm sorry, it's gotten ridiculous that it's come to this point that it's taken veteran nonprofits to change the game when we elect these officials to do their job, but yet I see like we just got a bunch of kids sitting on the playground fighting.
Yep. Well, it is kind of surreal to me that we got the same people who put our men and women in the line of danger are the last ones who want to take responsibility for their life after they leave the service, and I think it's a little deplorable myself, and
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons why community pay it forward, why I started this, was so we can prove to them, you know what, you're not as important as you think you are in our lives. We can take care of each other. And Justin, we are very, very proud that you've decided to come back and allow us to help support you. I wish you the best of luck, and I congratulate you on all the hard work, and looking forward to see what you've got coming up.
All right, brother. Likewise, you take care, and I look forward to working with you again.
All right. Hey, everybody, that was Justin Jones. We will be right back. If you have any questions, please. As he mentioned, the website is not quite up and running right now, but if you go to Facebook, you can find information on Veteran Warrior One Stop Shop, VWAS. Thank you very much, Justin. We'll see you soon.
Later, brother.
Hello, I'm Zach Clayton. Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PACT channels. We have two choices. We can either sit around and hope this goes away on its own, or we together can do something about it. Join me, my wonderful sponsor partners, Scott O'Sullivan Law Firm, and Ryder Justice, Z World Web, Auxilia Donor Management Systems, and Autumn Dahlia Creative Services. As we introduce programs from around the country aimed at helping our veterans, and discuss the importance of conversation and listening. Together, you and I can move mountains. Let's save lives. This is amazing. Okay, we're going to be bringing on somebody who joined us in the middle of last year, earlier middle of last year. Carolyn, do you remember?
It was probably over the summer if I had to guess.
Okay, so we're going to go early middle.
Yeah.
That'll work. But she joined with us early middle last year, and we've been, as everybody well knows, we've been still struggling to find our way. And there's Brody Light right there on
Yes.
On her side.
He keeps coming in. My husband
Yeah.
was coming downstairs, and so he likes to protect me from my husband.
Well, you know what? I'm not sure if you know this, but now
Yes.
he's called a Dalmador. He's
Okay.
Dalmatian and Labrador, and then you can't really see her too well, but that's my baby girl. She's black and white. She is she heard her name, so she's going to be jumping up here. But she is part Greyhound and Border Collie.
Okay.
So really thin dog, but yeah, because I missed Brody, I ended up bringing in two more. The funny thing is my wife and I, we went to go look for a small dog for her to have up in her office during the workday, when that she could have on her office and do the whole cute dog, and we come home with this behemoth. That, the Dalmador ghost, and so that kind of backfired on us. But we saw him, and he was just so perfect. So I've always loved Dalmatians. I thought that they were beautiful dogs. So to have one that's also part Labrador, really intriguing. The one thing that we need to get repaired on him, though, is we've got to get him a slower tail, because he just cannot catch his. So,
yeah, that happens.
So we are being joined by Carolyn Rasmussen. How are you doing?
I am doing great.
Well,
enjoying the Texas weather. I think we're a bit warmer than you right now.
I'm going to say you probably are. It's actually, you know what? It's not that cold, but it's been snowing all day long, which is just annoying. It's kind of one of those things that, look, if you're going to snow, be cold, get it done, get it over with. Let's push it all into the mountains and leave it there. Yeah. But right now it's 34 degrees, which to us in Colorado, our 34 is a lot different than other places 34. Okay, if I was in Chicago, we'd be dying right now because it's so cold. But our 34, we can walk around without coats usually. It's not that cold.
When we ski and it's 34, we get hot.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So,
yeah.
But well, we have some great news for everyone coming up at the end of this interview. Carolyn is going to be doing something fantastic, and it's going to help out a lot of people. So stick around till the end. Carolyn, tell us a little bit about yourself. What you and we talked about this as we were trying to get this whole thing set up. Your whole family, you guys are tech?
A&M. Texas A&M.
Okay. And see, that's one of those states that I knew I didn't want to mess up and say the wrong college. And I'm like, usually you wear a shirt so I wouldn't screw it up.
You notice the shirt's still maroon, though.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So tell me this. How did you, what was your reaction to TCU just getting destroyed?
Well, I felt like they did earn their spot. I mean, they won their way there. So that was cool.
Yeah.
But it did show the disparity between Big 12 and SEC.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing. I've been a long time, which is weird. Okay, I admit this is weird, but I don't really have an affiliation with either school. I am a K-State Kansas fan. So, and yeah, I couldn't, what happened with K-State against Alabama, showed, but K-State at least put up a fight against them, which made me happy. So, hey, got to see the husband there for a second.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was kind of one of those things. I kind of forgot the whole game was going on. I switched over and I said, whoa. And I switched away real quick. I wasn't going to watch any 61-7 when I turned it. And I'm like, nah, I'm not. Nah. Okay.
Alabama is a tough one. We actually showed up pretty well against Alabama, but the rest of our season fell apart. So, it's college ball.
Yeah. So, but your family, your husband, yourself, your oldest son are all A&M, and now your youngest son is committing.
He's working on it. We're positioning him he's a junior in high school. So we're in the throes of getting everything so that he will apply this summer, and we will cross our fingers that he gets in. Every year, Texas is so competitive with their universities, and A&M is one of the top universities people want to go to. So it's just really, really, really hard to get in. So we're going to just try and position him the best we can and figure out what his path to become an Aggie is.
Is there athletics in his no, it's just academic, and
yeah,
they're even competitive with their academic.
Yeah. So the only auto admits are the top 10% of their graduating class.
That is very intriguing, and I'll be honest. I think I really love that, because it makes ambitious kids become more ambitious and try a little harder. I can understand on your side, I can understand why it's probably quite a bit frustrating. I mean, it's not like Texas is Montana, where there's 13 kids in the whole state, but
the challenge is depends on your school district. So, for example, my oldest son, when he got admitted, he graduated from high school in 2020. And they still had top quarter was auto admit. And in our school district, he had a 4.02 or 4.03. He was 53rd percentile.
Wow.
So he was nowhere even close to the top quarter. However, if you're not the top 10%, you can opt out of ranking. Therefore, he wasn't ranked on the transcript at the A&M. So A&M said, with a 4.02, all these AP classes, surely he's top quarter. Bam, we'll put him in the top quarter. So he was an auto admit. Now that top 10% is required, top 10%, the school has to rank you. So if you're not ranked, then the universities automatically know you're not in the top 10%. And so now, and my younger son's academically not as strong as my older son was, so we have to work a whole different angle. And so it just becomes top 10% is not many kids. And if you're in a competitive school district like we are, where it's a college prep public school district, you got, the top 10% are the kids who have all A's in every single AP class, and they've taken all of them. I mean, it's just not realistic. So it's a challenge, but we'll get there. We'll find a way.
Well, I wish you and I wish your son the best of luck. I truly do. We here are having, as a matter of fact, I have a meeting to go to here in a couple weeks, because my foster son, the son that we fostered, they're graduating him this year. Yeah, he still has the difficulties. Yes, he does have a few challenges with some BD, but he doesn't do well with like the alphabet, addition, just simple things. And I think that's one of the things that just really bugs me, is that these schools are passing, I don't want to say troubled youth, but challenged youth, maybe. They're just passing them through instead of trying to really put an effort behind teaching them, and it's something that, you know, and of course we got to Andrew very late in life. We didn't get him until he was 17 years old, which is where he's at now. So, you know, we're trying to do things different, and I think it's hard because I want him to feel normal as he can feel, but with his challenges, I know that is difficult for him. So
that's a whole other conversation. But yes, parenting and school requires hands-on anymore. You can't just send your kid off to school and assume everything is going to go well. And you know, my younger one has more challenges, and so we've had to live that. We've had to walk that walk. Fortunately for him, part of why I do Pampered Chef is because I can stay home, right? And so I've been able to be in the PTA. I've been able to be in front of the principals and the counselors and the teachers and be available. I have a meeting next week at 2:00 with the teacher, because my son has shocking, never really learned how to study. They don't teach them how to study, right? So the reasons I put him in these AP classes is not to get the college credit, but to learn how to study, because I know the rigor in an AP class is different. Well, I'm available. I'm not at a job that requires me to be 8 to 5. I have extreme flexibility in my schedule. So I've had to walk that walk, but that's where Pampered Chef has fit for me, because I could still earn money. I could still change lives. I could still impact others, but yet I am 100% here for my kids all the time. My degree is in IT from A&M, and I was an IT person prior to having my first child, and I knew I couldn't do both because that's too demanding. And then, a few years down the road, I gave Pampered Chef a try on a total whim, but that's because I wanted to be there. And then it panned out to be the most amazing thing as my kids have walked through, and then the younger one needing even more from me, I've been there. And yeah, you've got a challenge because you're coming in late, and but it's a hands-on thing. You've got to parent and advocate for your kids, but then teach them to advocate for themselves too. And it's not hands off. It is not at all.
Were you and I hate this term, but were you a chef prior to Pampered Chef?
No.
Were you a fan of being in the kitchen? Were you an artiste when it comes to food?
No. So, let's go back. I'm an IT person. That means I'm extremely analytical. I'm a problem solver, and I follow a process. I did grow up with a mom who cooked. We ate at home 95% of the time. My father didn't enjoy restaurants and didn't enjoy spending money at a restaurant, so we almost always ate at home. And my mom was always really good about involving us in the kitchen. So I knew how to cook. I could cook all through college. When I had an apartment, I cooked a lot of our meals, couldn't afford. Now, some of them might have been creative, like we took Kraft mac and cheese and put hot dogs in it. That was, our creativity. I'm a recipe follower. However, I did naturally have the desire to cook, naturally wanted to provide that for my family. One thing that's huge for us that is near and dear to me is eating dinner around the table every night. And so sometimes we do that with takeout, but most of the time we do it for ourselves. And the only way to eat healthy is to know what you're putting in on your plate and how you're cooking it. So that's kind of part of the way Pampered Chef fits in. And it was just, I didn't expect it. I really didn't do this thinking I'd be here 12 years. Honestly, I just did it because I thought it might be interesting to get out of the house a few days a month and not have to put the kids to bed, And then it turns out that I had a passion for it because I've always wanted to help people. I've always been driven to help people, and this gave me that. But no, and it's funny, people will join Pampered Chef to learn how to cook. So Pampered Chef, I think I would put emphasis on the pampered and a lot less on the chef, because the whole purpose, Pampered Chef, since its inception in 1980 with Doris Christopher, was how to help the common person. At that time was more housewife, right? In the 1980s, we were still fighting that stigma, but how to make the average family have the tools and the recipes to get food on the table easier, somewhat healthier. In the early days, there was a lot of Pillsbury Crescent dough.
Yeah.
We moved away from that, but just really get families back around the table, because that's the heart of the table. That's dinner time. Everybody has to eat, and that's the time you get dedicated face-to-face time with your spouse and your kids and everything, and that's priceless. And so that's what I love to do. And do I love cooking? It's a necessary evil, but it's more fun when you have tools.
Yeah, that's true. When you got a can opener that doesn't work, pretty damn frustrating trying to open a can with a hammer.
Yes, it is.
And I'll you and I, we've discussed this before. We discussed it the other day. That here shortly, I'm going to be getting a can opener from you, because the one I've got now are the cheapy $2 ones, and it works better than any of the other ones that I've had. But saying this, it still doesn't work. You've got to, if you try to squeeze it too hard, it won't go. If you try to squeeze it too light, it won't go. So you got to find that nice perfect medium and have it spin a little bit until it catches. So yeah. What is your favorite Pampered Chef item?
I get this question all the time, and it's so hard because, first of all, the whole catalog is in my kitchen. So I have so many of them, and it kind of depends on what I'm doing. I'll pick two because they're two very different ones. One's our rock crock. The rock crock is a cooking vessel. We have a Dutch oven, and then we have an everyday pan, and then we have some that are like grill stones. But the reason I love it is it's stovetop, oven, broiler, microwave, grill, and dishwasher.
Oh, wow.
So you could use, especially if you have limited space, you have one vessel that will go anywhere. But I love it. We now also just came back out with a re-release this month with a slow cooker base. So now it also is a slow cooker. So when you make that pot roast, you want to sear your pot roast first. But when you sear your meat, it's called fond, right? It's that crispy brown and the juices from it. That's the most flavor. And when you sear it in a different pan than the pan that you're going to cook it in, you lose an amount of that flavor, the fond. Well, now I can sear it in the rock crock on the stovetop. Then I can add the liquids and the vegetables and put it in my slow cooker base.
Oh, wow.
Or if you start something in the microwave because you didn't start it fast enough like you were supposed to, but you could finish it in the oven and still get some of the slow roasted flavor, right? So there's a lot of versatility when you have one pot. Plus, you can go take it out to the grill. If you're making hamburgers tonight and you want to cook beans, in Texas, sometimes in the summertime, the last thing you want to do is fire up your stove or your oven in the house. But if I'm cooking some hamburgers and I'm only using half the grill for the meat, the other half of the grill, I can set that rock crock of beans to heat up those barbecue beans alongside the hamburgers. Or I know some people love smoked mac and cheese, and you can put this in the smoker. So just the versatility is amazing. The other thing I've loved is our rapid prep mandolin, because mandolins, traditionally you have the food and you rake it across a blade. And I would say at least 50 to 60% of my customers feel like this doesn't fit in this guard right. So I'm fast enough. I can keep my fingers out of the blade.
Mm-hmm.
Never use a mandolin without a guard, because you will cut yourself. So this is totally different. And instead of only slicing, it also will make French fries or julienne matchstick size. And it has hopper, and then you actually are pushing a plunger for the blade to go across the food.
Okay.
So you have to work pretty hard to cut your fingers. But then I have one tool that will cut very even French fries. And the importance of being even is they cook even, right?
Mhm.
And then also we'll slice everything from paper thin, like potato chips, to thick. And then also we'll julienne. So you can do carrots, you can do tomatoes, you can do zucchini, you could do cucumbers. I mean, anything you want to do, that rapid prep mandolin will do it.
That's just going to cut down on prep time quite sufficiently.
Yes, and you can bring your kids into the mix because you don't have to worry about them cutting their fingers.
Yeah.
Which again, you go back to my passion, right? And both my boys cook, and my oldest cooks better and more involved than I do. I don't have patience to cook some of the stuff he wants to cook. And he's more creative, and so he'll like, "Oh, Mom, do this to the recipe." I'm like, "No, the recipe says this. I can't change it." So you get the kids in the kitchen, you teach them the skills.
Yeah. My oldest son, and I believe I've mentioned this to you before. My oldest son is in Japan, and his first apartment, they did not have a stove. He had he had a stove. He did not have an oven, and so anything that he wanted to cook, he had to find a way. In an oven, he had to find a way to cook at stovetop. So when he came down here, he asked if I wanted his help cooking, and I'm like, no, not really. I don't. I love you to death, but I'm not sure if I'm going to trust what So he learned the value of sushi very well. Let's put it that way. And sushi's not my thing. So, tell us how. Explain to us, what is the advantage, and why should people have Pampered Chef over, we'll go Walmart brand?
So a lot of people don't understand the value of quality. They look at the price tag and say, "Wait a second, this is way more expensive than this one. I can do the same thing, right? You take two pans and you can do two things with the same thing with both of them." And to an extent, that's correct. But there's a couple things. One, you're going to be replacing that Walmart pan multiple times, while this other pan will probably last you, if not a lifetime, at least 10, 15, 20 years. Okay. Ours also won't be flaking off chemicals into your food. But more importantly, when you have cheap cooking tools, then you sometimes might think that you're a terrible cook because everything's burning, or it's just too hard to cut, or you cut yourself because it's dull, or whatever, or your spoons keep breaking. But in reality, the problem is you've got low quality tools, and the low quality tools are now causing your results to not be what you expected. Plus, the other thing is Pampered Chef, you have me. That's what the foundation of this company was built on. It's direct sales. And while some people have a bad taste in their mouth with that, the thing about direct sales is you have a relationship with the person you're purchasing from. So now when you get that air fryer, okay, you buy an air fryer from Walmart, that's great. And it comes with a book, and you might be able to Google things online. But when something doesn't work like you expect, who are you going to call? I don't think Walmart customer service is going to be a great big help on why your French fries didn't crisp up.
They can't find the air fryer a lot of times.
So you buy it from me, and you have my contact information, and you have someone to say, "Hey, wait a second, this didn't work right. Is this a problem with the way I'm using it, or is this a problem with the tool?" And Pampered Chef, everything has a warranty. Depending on the product, it's different for each one. But you always have me to come back to. If you bought the rock crock, for example, this is a perfect example, and you saw me demo it and you thought it was a really great idea, you get it, you kind of set it on the side saying, "I will eventually," I think the dog thought he was coming in. "You will eventually use it." And then you're like, now I'm intimidated by this rock crock because this doesn't look like a normal pan. You call me, I'll send you recipes. So you build that relationship with the person you're purchasing from, and so that's another huge advantage to buying from Pampered Chef.
Why did Pampered Chef not do the buy here now, and we're going to give you 3 Ginsu knives and this cookbook and your neighbor Sue, we're going to throw her in on the deal. Why didn't Pampered Chef go that way, and why did they go with specific professionals like yourself?
Well, Doris Christopher really started this company because she was a home ec teacher, and she was just trying to find a way to add some income to her family. And she, being a home ec teacher, was skilled in the kitchen. And her friends were asking her questions. And so she thought, well, what the heck? I'll start helping them. She lived in Chicago. There's a market there for buying the products at a wholesale. And some of her first things were like the stones. And her heart always was on the helping the customer part. So it just kind of grew from there. But the cool thing about this is I know the way you said it, you felt like you were kind of making a joke, but it kind of happens that way, right? So when you host a party, hosts get rewards. So you have your friends together and have fun with me, and I will teach you recipes and tips, and you can ask me questions. Your friends are going to buy some of the stuff because Pampered Chef, 1, has new products every 6 months, and 2, nobody ever buys everything that they want at one time. And everybody sees something new that they want, or there's something changed and they now cook this way or whatever. Mm-hmm. And based on the sales at the party, you now get free and half price and 60% off stuff. And how cool is that? Now you walk into Williams-Sonoma and say, hey, I just brought 5 friends with me and they're all buying stuff. Would you give me that spatula and that knife for free? And I want that air fryer for half price. You think Williams-Sonoma is going to do that?
Yeah, no, probably not. No. And so, I'll guarantee you Walmart will not.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So Pampered Chef has actually created a way to market the products, yet still keep at the core the fact that we're here to help people cook for their families. And that's the core of it. Gather around the table is kind of one of our sayings, and there's always room at the table and all of that. That's our motto. That's who Doris Christopher was, and that's who we are. Now, if you spend $80, I think it's 80, it might be changing, but you'll get a free gift. And Pampered Chef does that. It doesn't come out of my pocket. You spend $150, you'll get free shipping. So there is some of that, but it's more about making sure that you get the quality products and you don't get some cheapy thing just to make you happy. And you get the person to connect it to, so you have someone that can answer questions.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was really going with this, is that, you know what? Emerald is not going to be there to tell you how to use your pan after you buy it, no matter how many, double orders you get. He's not going to be there to do that. So what you're doing, that's one of those, that's kind of the reason what I was digging at, is that, there's a personal touch to it. And like I said, you're an amazing person. And you did join with us in the summertime last year. And so you can find Carolyn's page, even though I think, yeah, okay. Phew, I thought we had your name misspelled for a second. I was like going, oh no.
No, you got it right. You're good.
Okay, so that's good. And you can come here, and you know what? You're going to be able to watch this interview right in this box from now on. So, because this interview is going to be going into this box, but you can always get all of her information right here. And Carolyn is going to give a portion of your sales back to us, and we are going to give 80% of whatever she sends to us to the cause of your choice. So think about this. You're going to get some really, really quality items. You're going to be able to do things you've never been able to do in the kitchen. You're going to be able to bring your family together. And I'm going to switch the view here just so people can see it. Oh, I guess I got to move my mouse to the right location. That's one of the worst things about trying to do double screen when you're doing this. I got my mouse over on the other screen, and I'm like going, how come it won't go down? Well, it's over on the other one. So, but you can see more information, and you can see that you can get a hold of Carolyn at culinarycarolyn@gmail.com. That's culinarycarolyn@gmail.com. Or her phone number is right there, 214-454-7684. 214-454-7684. And just remember, every time that you make a purchase, you tell her, you know what? I saw you on Community Pay It Forward, and I want to make my purchase mean more, not just to me, not just to you, Carolyn, but we want to make it personal for someone else, you know. So, and Carolyn, what are some of the things that you personally love to support?
I love a lot of causes. One of the one I've done recently is cancer. It hits everybody. If you haven't been impacted by it yet, you probably will. Family or friend or something. That's one of my big ones. I love doing pet ones, whether it's rescues or
Did you hear that, Ghost? She's talking about you.
Various pet type organizations. Another one that's really awesome that people don't always think about, because Pampered Chef doesn't require it to be a 501(c)(3) or whatever, C3, whatever. I always get that wrong. Too many numbers and letters to put in there. But it doesn't require that. It just requires it to be an organization. I can't have the check made out to an individual person. So think about, like, I've done several for my son's robotics team, and they've earned money for their robotics team. And I've done one recently. A young man was trying to earn some money for his Eagle Scout to do his project. And so he hosted it. He was there. He helped us cook. We actually did it in person, but they also blasted the link out to friends and family, because you don't have to be local. It ships directly to the individuals. There's no deliveries. And he earned several $100s for his Eagle Scout. And, everybody orders. Pampered Chef doesn't increase the cost of the products when it's a fundraiser. It's the same price regardless. So it's the same value. Everything's the same. It's just, instead of the host rewards I was talking about before, the half price and the free, the fundraiser, it turns into money and is sent as a check. So it could be anything: soccer teams, lacrosse teams, cheerleaders, dancers, and some of the stuff that you do. I love what you do, and all the various organizations you support as well.
I wonder if that could be maybe a segue. So
Maybe.
Let's see if we can work this right, shall we? We'll be right back. Hello, I'm Zach Clayton of Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. We have two choices. We can either sit around and hope this goes away on its own, or we together can do something about it. Join me and my wonderful sponsor partners, Scott O'Sullivan Law Firm and Ryder Justice, Z World Webs, Auxilia Donor Management Systems, and Autumn Dahlia Creative Services, as we introduce programs from around the country aimed at helping our veterans and discuss the importance of conversation and listening. Together, you and I can move mountains. Let's save lives. I wonder what we're going to announce. Carolyn, would you please do the honors?
Yes. So I am so excited to partner with Zach and all the wonderful stuff he's doing. And on Sunday, February 19th, let's see, in Mountain Time, that would be 5 p.m. No, I'm sorry, you're backwards. So 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, if I got that right. We are going to do a live cooking show on Zoom, where I'm still formulating my menu, but I am thinking chili is going to be part of it. And so I'm going to show some really cool different tools, different ways of cooking, some wintertime comfort food. And the proceeds, again, this is going to be a fundraiser like we talked about before. The fundraiser then will go to Zach and Community Pay It Forward, and he will send it along the way to the organizations he was talking about there. It's funny because that's a near and dear to me too. I had a cousin who went to Desert Storm, and when he came back, he wasn't the same. He just wasn't the same person. He was always a quiet guy growing up. He grew up here in the Dallas area as well, so we would all the holidays and other times we'd spend time together. But what he saw at Desert Storm hugely affected him. Now, unfortunately, he passed away in 2003 from a brain tumor. It was not suicide, but that's a whole nother story where that brain tumor probably came from. But I just know the impact he had from being in the tank on the front lines of Desert Storm, and I know what it does to our military folks, and we need to support them. We need to make sure that they know that they're cared about and that there is a life worth living, and it's worth putting the effort in. And so I love organizations like this that bring it to light and talk about it and make it not be embarrassing to admit. These are very macho people.
Yeah. Well, we make mention quite frequently that the Army or the services, excuse me, it's not just the Army, but all the services, they take young men and women who are just barely out of high school. And they can't even legally drink, and they take away everything that they've ever known, everything that they are, and they rebuild them to who they need them to be. And then when service time ends, they hand them a check and a handshake and say, there you go. They don't help to integrate them back into society. And it becomes very, very hard, like your cousin, when they see things that they've seen, there's not a lot of counseling there for people. Luckily, we are starting to see in society that there's that problem, and there's becoming a little more help, but then there's always going to be those, well, it's called a spade a spade. There's always going to be those jerks that are going to be sitting there saying, just stop being a wimp. And but the truth is that, yeah, look, people handle things a lot differently than others. Every single one of us is different. We can handle things. We do handle things a lot differently. But with what you're offering to be part of this, right now we are sitting at a dozen different. We're looking at a dozen different organizations that are going to be getting a portion of the money from any purchase made on February 19th. 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Central. So please, we're going to beg you to join the PAC channels. It's going to be here live on all the PAC channels, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, on wherever else I've got it. I can't remember. Oh, YouTube, I guess. So it's going to be live right there. Just please, if you need help finding it, let us know. This is too important to miss. And hey, who doesn't like a good chili? You mentioned hot dogs earlier. I'm a chili dog guy. I could eat chili dogs. And I'm, we had kielbasa last night. Which is, one of my favorite things in the world. I'm just a sausage guy altogether. All right, I can, I am the Homer Simpson guy, you know. I mean,
Well, then you're
expect me to
bringing.
believe that there's one magical animal that bacon and sausage and ham come off of.
Well,
That's
maybe
me.
we'll toss in some jambalaya.
Hey, there we go. There we go. Now we're
Yeah,
talking.
get the
So,
sausage and I'll, I don't know if I'll do shrimp or I'll do chicken. I usually do 2 meats in that jambalaya, so it's a very easy jambalaya. So I'll come up with some really good things to do for that. But yeah,
that
it'll be fun. I'm always throwing out tips and hints along the way, and I hope to make it in a way that can be interactive. If we can, whatever the format is, so that people can ask me questions and stuff as well. So
yeah, you will be able to ask her questions simply by putting a question in the chat, and I'll be able to pass that along to Carolyn as we speak. I will be co-hosting with her. Of course, I'll be staying out of her way because, well, I'm in Colorado. I'm a fat guy. I'm not that fat. I can't, my girth doesn't get to Texas all that often, but, so please. Oh, let me ask you this. There will be can openers there, right?
yes, yes, and
Okay.
actually that's
Yeah. So
here's the
win-win.
cool thing: the whole catalog is available, right? So anything in the catalog you could order. I'll make sure Zach has all the information on how to order. Here shortly, we will create the link and set it up. So if there's something like a can opener you need right away, you could actually order ahead of time before the event if you care to, and still benefit the same event. We'll just keep it open through the event, and then when we're ready to close it, that's when the check will be cut. So yeah, and it's shipping directly to you, and our shipping is very reasonable. It's $7.95 flat until you get to 150, and when you spend $150, it's free. Now I don't know if you've tried to ship anything lately, Zach, but $7.95 to ship anything, it would cost
Yeah.
me more than that to ship the can opener to you.
I tried to shift. I tried to mail papers, and it ended up costing me over $3.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm like, it's paper. That's why the mail was created, was to mail paper. Why is it costing me that? But yeah, so once again, this is going to be February 19th from 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m.
No, sorry,
Pacific.
3 p.m. Central. 3 p.m.
Yep,
Central.
Yep, 3 p.m.
So 1
Central.
p.m. 1 p.m. Mountain.
No, 2 Mountain, 1 Pacific.
Okay. Yes. Okay. You're only one. Yeah. 2
Yep.
Mountain, 1 Pacific, and then we go the other way. So 4 o'clock Eastern.
4 East. Yep. So, but Caroline is going to be doing. Carolyn is going to be doing a party, and everything that you see is going to be for sale. And not only that, but she's got a whole catalog, and all of it's going to go to benefit Community Mission to Rescue 22 and the organizations that we're working with. So this is all part, and we've got more to come. But Carolyn, you're the first one we're going to announce because you and I talked about this. I was so excited when my little pea brain decided to give me a thought, and it goes, "Hey, I got an idea," and I'm like, I got to talk to her now. So I'm sitting there last week and just got done with physical therapy, and I'm kind of sitting there going, but when we started talking, I was extremely happy about that. So thank you, Carolyn.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for all that you do. We wish you guys and your kids, your husband, and yourself, we wish you the best of luck. Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too.
And I cannot wait for February 19th because I think this is going to be a great way to start this week of a lot of caring and proving to people that we're there for them, and hopefully changing their mind away from making that end of life decision. So thank you very much. Once again, Carolyn, how do people get a hold of you?
So you can reach me by email at culinarycarolyn@gmail.com or my phone number 214-454-7684, and that's probably the easiest ways at this moment. And I can text. You can text absolutely. I'm big with texting too, and I can shoot you links to the order and everything else.
Okay, and then one of the other ways is simply by going to Community Pay It Forward and going to Pampered Chef Carolyn Rasmussen. So if you go there, or even in the little search bar, you just put Pampered Chef or Carolyn or I don't know, cooking. Carolyn's going to pop up and you're going to be able to find her. All of her information is there. You're going to be able to just take and click and get straight to her page. And again, she's going to give us a referral award every time that you go to her, and 80% of that is going to go to a cause that you choose. February 19th from at 4 East, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, 1 Pacific. Join our party. Please make sure you tell everybody you know about this great organization and this great lady who's going to help us save lives. Carolyn, thank you very much. You and I are going to be doing a lot of working from now to hello, Zephyr. How are you doing? She knew I was going to hang up, so she had to make her appearance. She just thinks she's part of the show now. So, but please make sure that you share this information with everyone you know, and let's make a difference. So, but thank you. And I'm looking forward to working with you very closely for the next couple months.
I'm excited.
All right. We will be back here shortly. We're going to be talking to one of the missions that we're going to be supporting, VWAS, Mr. Justin Jones. So please don't go anywhere. We will be right back. So we're back. And we've already talked to Justin Jones. Something that Carolyn mentioned that I just got an email for. Ta-da! There it is. From this moment on, you use that link to buy anything Pampered Chef, and a portion of the proceeds will go to Community Mission to Rescue 22. Let's get shopping, folks. Hey, I got to let you go. The Rev is coming up next here in about 20 minutes. So I got to go on and do my button monkey job there and press buttons and try to make him look good. It never works. Nah, he's a good looking guy. Who am I kidding? Plus he wears a cool collar. If you're not familiar with the Rev, if you're looking to do some, just to relax, just to kind of something different, join us over there and then talk a little bit of, we're going to be talking a little bit in the paranormal field. So, but right down here, pamperedchef.com party rescue 22 fundraiser. Let's get this going, folks. There's a lot of people who are depending on our success, so let's succeed. Please make sure that you love somebody out there, because somebody out here loves you. Remember, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together. I love you. Thank you so very much. Please be good to each other because, well, quite frankly, we're all we got. So let's take care of each other, huh? All right. We will talk to you next Wednesday on IMpACT. As soon as I can find there it is. On IMpACT.